Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
That facility is a federal quarantine facility, and you've been cautioned now not to enter the premises of that federal quarantine facility.
We back the blue, but this kind of intimidation, going to my personal residence to give me this bogus trespass ticket, it's making it increasingly hard for us to do, sir.
Where did you fly in from?
Oh, we got another one!
Came from Mexico?
Hola, mi amigo!
Well, nice talking to you. Here's my friend. She wants to talk to you.
Okay, give me information. We'll come in after.
Hello? No negative test before you return. So why are you quarantining?
Officers! We live in Canada! We live in a free country! I have just spoken to two people who have proven that they do not have COVID! Why is it possible that they are being held against their will?
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, I'm back at the infamous Radisson Airport Hotel on Dixon Road. We have some protesters congregating, and compared to our visit here last Thursday, there are a few subtle differences. For one thing, there is now a rope here, and here on this pylon, here's something new: private property, no trespassing. Well, as the saying goes, now you tell me, because folks, as you may know from a previous video, the Toronto police came to my house yesterday. I don't even live in Toronto, and two police officers paid a second visit to my humble little home in Richmond Hill to serve me with a trespassing ticket. And as I pointed out in the video, this to me looks like a hotel open to the public. You know, our first visit here in January, we were told by somebody at the hotel called Jamie.
It's closed for construction.
Closed for construction? I see people in the windows.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. That's what it is.
Clearly, it is not closed to the public, but the question arises, why would you trespass me for committing, I don't know, the egregious act of practicing journalism? But that's how they roll in John Tory's Toronto. So at least now they've done a little MacGyver here of bolting a private property no trespassing sign, but it sure wasn't there last week, and we have the video footage to prove it. So I would imagine that in any moment there'll be police. In fact, I think those might be the police that showed up to my house yesterday. They were driving a black Dodge Caravan, which I guess I should be grateful. One of the vehicles that came last week was a Ford F-250 Super Duty pickup truck. Why would the police need that? Or maybe they tow around the mounted unit. You'd need a truck like that. Here we have Paladin Security, or as I like to call them, Mayor Patrick Brown's Praetorian Guard. These guys are usually in Brampton guarding the hockey rinks where Mayor Brown and his buddies from Barrie illegally play hockey. So yeah, once again, folks, your tax dollars hard at work. In any event, enough about me. I'm here to talk to the protesters who are making a statement, because clearly this is a quarantine hotel. People are being put here, and apparently they're being lied to by the authorities. They're being told they have to stay there, when in fact you know that they don't. They can just leave. But there's nothing against the law, I suppose, of police and government officials lying to people. And so it is, we have people essentially being held against their will. Gee, do you think maybe the cops would be interested in such charges as, I don't know, kidnapping, forcible confinement? No, those are true crimes. So we're going to see how the day pans out. Hopefully the mounted unit won't show up like they did with Adam Skelly, because we do have truly peaceful protesters here, and I want to hear what they have to say.
We are here for you. We will give you a ride home. Know your rights, people.
So, ma'am, I read your shirt at the back. Let me make sure I got it right. My rights don't end where your fears begin. You know, there is a really ramped up fear factor in Canada these days, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but what are we supposed to be afraid of when we look at the death stats of this virus? We know, and to me, it's not the positive counts that mean anything. It's just the deaths. The vast majority of people are elderly, typically with health conditions at long-term care facilities that are dying. And yes, it's a tragedy when such people die, but to shut down the whole economy, to set up, you know, prisons that resemble hotels, this is the answer to this virus?
Yeah, I can't make sense of it for you. I don't understand it. For the last year, I've been told that I'm sick and that I should be afraid of spreading some disease that I don't have. And people are afraid of me. People don't want to hug me. My own friends and family don't want to come around me.
Really?
Yeah, because I stand here amongst other people. Yeah, almost 11 months we've been gathering. We've been hugging. We've been dancing in the streets. And I'll tell you this, I'm still not sick.
You know, sir, you pointed out something to me my cameraman Mocha noticed just 2 minutes ago, and that is when we were here last week, virtually every window had people in it, and now it looks like I've only seen one person. You think maybe they've shifted the inmates, the guests, to the rear-facing unit, so there's no, I guess, bad PR of people doing this like they're in handcuffs to the camera.
Yes, I think they've done that. They're prepared. They knew we were coming today, and they've moved all the, what are called, detainees on the other side, I believe.
Wow. Now, what do you think's going to happen today? Last week we saw so much law enforcement descend on what is clearly a peaceful protest. You guys aren't going to be creating any violence or vandalism, so was that an intimidation tactic to maybe scare you away from doing these protests?
I think it was more for the people inside. They're scared that the people inside are going to want to leave because they're hearing us, and they have the police there to enforce rules that aren't rules and enforce laws that aren't laws and that are breaching every human right possible.
There's nothing stopping government and even police from lying, so they've been told you must stay here when in fact they can just walk out on their own accord, but I guess they're trusting their jailers.
I guess so. And Justin Trudeau just announced from the last time we were here that they were going to slow this process down, but it seems like they still have people inside these isolation facilities. So once again, we got more lies, and we can see them. They're evident. Every day we're hearing more and more rules. Everything changes every day, and it's like this is just like totally wrong.
Well, do you trust anything that comes out of the mouth of Prime Minister Trudeau these days, sir?
Not really. I don't think so. I think we need new government. That's what I think we need. I think Justin Trudeau needs to climb off his pedestal, and we need to find a new Prime Minister.
How you doing? Can you guys tell me what this phone number is? It says call us 905-967. When someone calls that number, guys, what do they get?
This is somebody's personal phone number, and we can inform them of their rights and inform them that they're able to leave the hotel, and anything the police have told them is most likely illegal. We would like to inform them of their rights, and then they can make an informed decision at least as to whether they're going to stay or not.
Well, folks, we're at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, and we've come across another police van. This one's marked. There's one officer in it. We're just trying to find another angle in which to... Oh, and I think we have found it. This is the east-facing side of the hotel. We got to it by going into the parking lot of the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, the Toronto Congress Centre, my mistake. And perhaps this is where they've moved the inmates to. Well, folks, I'm going to flash my headlights and honk the horn. This is what we're reduced to in terms of getting answers to what these hotels are being used for, because the Public Health Agency of Canada won't return our emails. Oh, and here's a Toronto police cruiser coming, so I better do this before Oh, and we have more police. I think that's the guy that came to my house yesterday, as a matter of fact, folks, to serve me my trespass ticket. And they're driving around, I don't know what for. I think they think I'm going to climb that fence. It is climbable, but, you know, I don't want to rip the material, you know, so that's not going to happen. So again, we do not see anyone here. Maybe they have emptied out the hotel, or maybe they've been told, don't go to the window. Clearly they're being told that they have to stay here, and that's not the case. So who knows what other misinformation they've been told. Hey, how you doing? Pardon me? Good, sir. David Menzies with Rebel News. Just doing a story on the hotel here. And who might you be?
I'm the security guard of this property. It's a private property, so we don't allow anybody come here.
Oh, I see. Can I see your security license, please?
Yes, you can do.
Okay, thank you.
But you know you're in private property, right?
Well, it's the Toronto Congress Centre.
It's a private property, so...
Yeah, I was last here to see Doug Ford have a convention for the PC party. Okay, then. Yep, there you go. You are indeed. I just wanted to make sure you're an actual security official and not...
I'm driving this car. This car belongs to Toronto Congress Centre.
Oh, okay, then. And am I doing anything by being here, or do you...
Well, we ask everybody to leave if they don't have any business here, so they have to leave, yes.
Okay, I'll leave, and what we're just doing, it's not about the Toronto Congress Centre, sir. It's about this hotel holding people against their will, and have you heard anything about the inmates here, or...
No, I have
not.
No?
Okay, then.
Thank you for talking with us, Sean. Thank you for calling. Okay, bye, love.
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Stephanie, so I heard you made contact with somebody. Was that somebody in the hotel talking with you right now?
Sean, yeah, okay. Sean in the hotel, who's been here since February 2nd.
Wow.
He had a negative COVID test. He was rushed back from Europe under Trudeau's recommendations. He spent extra money on a plane ticket to book a ticket and come home straight away. He had a negative COVID test, and he had plans to isolate in an Airbnb property. This was not sufficient enough for the airport, as he lives with someone who is older, and therefore his father doesn't want him coming home without following the 14 days. So he had made arrangements to go to an Airbnb on top of having a negative COVID test already, and he is in here. He says...
Why aren't they accepting the negative COVID test? I don't understand.
I don't understand. In his words, he said, whether your test is negative or positive, you still have to quarantine. Everybody still has to quarantine, which makes absolutely no sense.
Well, what's the point of getting tested then?
Absolutely. He proved that he is not ill, and yet he is still being treated as though he is ill. He went out of his way to make sufficient arrangements to be in a home by himself where he can isolate by himself. Yeah, he also told me this story about how he needed medications and he was not able to get them. He wasn't able to call shoppers and have them delivered, that they didn't accept this.
Now, Stephanie, I'm assuming you told them you're free to walk out. You have people here that will give him a ride home or wherever he wants to go. What did he say to that offer?
His fear was that he didn't have anywhere to go. That today, in this moment, he didn't have an Airbnb set up and he couldn't go to his home because of his elderly father. And he said if he had known we were going to be here and if he had made arrangements, that he would be walking out today.
Did he describe the conditions of the rooms in which they're staying?
Yeah, I asked him a bit about it. He said it feels like prison. He said he's not allowed to leave the room. He said that they specifically moved him. They moved them from rooms. They said that there was something wrong with the water and he was moved from his room. And he directly said that this is because we come here. That he believes this is because we come here.
So they didn't like the bad PR optics of people in the west-facing rooms, indicating like their hands were cuffed, that they're being held against their will. So they moved them away to a more inconvenient camera angle.
Right, absolutely.
Wow.
He confirmed it himself that he was changed rooms today.
Where did you fly in from?
Oh, we got another one.
Came from Mexico?
Hola, mi amigo.
Well, nice talking to you. Here's my friend. She wants to talk to you. Okay, give me
So, Stephanie, I understand you made contact with yet another, what do we call them, inmates, guess? What is the correct terminology?
I don't know. They sound like prisoners. That's what they sound like. Yeah, I just spoke with Vic from Mexico.
Okay.
Vic is on his last day of quarantine here. He had a negative PCR test before he boarded the plane. He took another negative PCR test when he arrived in Canada.
So two
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me about the fact that when he arrived here, he was given strict guidelines that he cannot leave. On his 7th day here, he said that he was offered to take another PCR test, and if this one also comes back negative, he could then leave. This didn't make sense to him. He said, I don't want to do that to my body again. I've had 2 in the last 7 days. I don't want to do one again. Tomorrow he is released, and he is a peace officer of the courts. And so in light of not jeopardizing his career and his job, he has decided to stay in there for his last night.
Wow.
He stated that today was his best day of quarantine and seeing us all out here, and he also said that he will be joining us next week.
That is amazing. So not only is he eventually going to be liberated, but he's going to go from being a prisoner to being a protester with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. He said he said it brightened his whole day to see us out here, and yeah, it feels nice to hear that.
Well, that's fantastic. And did he indicate how many people, Stephanie, are in the hotel?
I didn't ask. That's a good question. I can ask this the next time.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll let you carry on with your work. There's looks like there's plenty of people to be freed here, and you've got the phone number on billboards, and you've got cars standing by. So good for you, and you stay warm.
Thank you.
Well, folks, the sun is beginning to set here, and the protest is about to wrap up. They made contact with at least 2 people, so that's a start. It's all about liberation. But what I don't understand is this veil of secrecy. Nobody at the hotel, nobody with the federal government, nobody with law enforcement will say to us what is going on here. And you know, folks, the more they remain secretive, the worse and worse it looks. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Well, folks, time will tell if any of these protesters get one of those $880 Wuhan virus tickets. But if you are someone who has received such a citation, let us know about it. Go to fightthefines.com. That's fightthefines.com. We'll pick up your case. We'll put you in touch with a top criminal lawyer. We'll crowdfund your legal fees, and we'll get justice for you.